responsibility of any government on earth is to give security to life and property to the populace, to give the populace, their citizens, an enabling environment to live in peace and conduct their businesses peacefully. Any government that fails to give this primary responsibility has lost its authority to govern. Governing is about securing the country. It's about the welfare of the country. So let me tell you, we have to go back and look at the structure, the architectural structure of the Nigerian security system. The Nigerian security system, it must be understood that it's a colonial system. It's a colonial system, and nothing has changed. Nothing has changed because they are primarily created to serve and to protect the imperialists. These imperialists have been taken over or have shifted to our local so-called rulers. Having worked in the Police Service Commission, having been in the dialogue committee with Boko Haram, I got to learn a few things. One of the things that I have learned is that insecurity is a multi-billion-dollar industry. It is both internal and external. It's about the sale of arms and the sale of drugs. It's about the exploitation of the mineral resources in our country. For so long as this is not addressed, then we can never make headway. For that, you need a very, very patriotic and visionary leader. When I was with the Boko Haram Dialogue Committee, I sat with some of those that were in prison. And I would tell you that in the whole of Borno, there is no house in which there isn't a victim of the Boko Haram. I interviewed a 13-year-old at Giwa Barracks, and he told me that they were just picked up on the streets by this so-called Boko Haram, and they were trained to kill. They have an indoctrination in which anyone that has a big car, it doesn't matter what your religion is, he should just be killed. So what I'm trying to say is this: in a situation where your security apparatus have no synergy within themselves, that they are only mostly interested in what they get, and they are not even that, they are appointed on the basis of politics, on how close they are to the corridors of power, or whoever is selecting them, normally the president, is doing so not because of competence, but because of his personal interest and his personal protection, not to protect the Nigerian citizens. So for that reason, you cannot expect anything. So if we go back to the Plateau, it's not unique to Plateau. It's all over. It's all over the north. And it's about the exploitation of the mineral resources of northern Nigeria. Anywhere you see this kind of carnage, then make sure there's mining going on there. This is only a smoke screen to divert the attention of Nigerians from the main problem. Let me tell you, in Plateau, this has been happening for decades. They use the tactics of divide and rule. And unfortunately, for the victims and the perpetrators, they don't seem to understand that they have a common enemy. You cannot continue to blame. Where is your intelligence? I mean, what happened in Plateau is sickening. Before the so-called tit for tat, like the president said, the Fulani settlement was ravaged. Their outlaw was slaughtered. His head was put on a stick. So they went. I mean, what sort of a country is this, that you cannot even preempt, that you don't even have the intelligence of what uses our DSS. They are busy eavesdropping on our phones. They cannot eavesdrop. They cannot tell us. They cannot tell the government before time that there's going to be this or that. So it's the total failure of both the military elite and the politicians. The politicians are the biggest benefactors of this, from the east to the west to the north and wherever you are in Nigeria. You see, just recently, Zulum of Borno complained that some of the territories of Borno are being taken by the Boko Haram. But what happened? They busy lying, insulting him. You know, what I'm trying to say is that the people in power, unfortunately, in this country, are such pathological liars. They all think that we don't see and we don't feel, that it's all about them.